Hey, hey, hey. How are you? Happy Thursday. Today, I am super excited to talk about your brain and how powerful your brain is. For those of you who don't know, I'm Kim Allen, and I'm a life transformation coach for women. And I help women move through those little difficult things in life so that she can get all she wants in her life. And we look at our habits of thinking and the things that might be keeping us a little bit stuck. So, I want to talk about that brain. And if you're on StreamYard, or if you're on and you're watching, can you grant StreamYard permission so that I can see that you're there? If you have any comments, I can see them. So, I want to talk about the ice plunge and your brain. The ice plunge was the after I went through this process with my brain. So let me just give you a little bit of a story. So the night before the ice plunge, I was having all kinds of dialogue. I'm afraid of the water, which for those of you who don't know, I'm very afraid of the ocean water, or being in the middle of a lake without a life vest on. And so I've created this dialogue in my brain that water scares me. Well, on top of that, it's cold. There was 16 inches thick of ice, okay, to get down to the water. So I had created all this stuff in my brain that this is not for me, that this is hard, this is scary. So I went into the morning of the ice plunge saying that I wasn't going to do this. But the night before, all this back and forth, I called my husband and I said, "What do you think I should do?" And he asked me one question. And that question was, do you want to do this for yourself, or do you want to do this because everyone else is doing it? Well, I decided that I was doing it because everyone else was doing it. I didn't see the purpose for myself. But let me fast forward now to the next morning. I went in saying I'm not doing it because I'm not doing it for myself. Well, as I went through the day, we had an amazing breath work session. We had some amazing connection that we had with all the other coaches. And here's what I discovered. All of that dialogue that I had with myself the night before, all the conversation I had with my husband, should I do this? Should I not do this? They were all stories that I was making up in my mind of why I can't do it and why I don't want to do it. So after I did the breath work and had that amazing afternoon, I was able to check in with myself and ask myself, why are you afraid to do this? Because that's what it came down to. My limiting beliefs that I'm afraid of the water, I'm afraid of the cold and how that's going to feel. And so, was I truly not going to get in that ice water because it wasn't for me, or was it because I was afraid? And I recognize that I was afraid. And so I decided that I was more powerful and more capable than the fear that was driving me to say no. So I went out there, and if you don't know me, the cold is something I don't love. I don't like being cold. As you can see, my shoulders are showing. It's not my favorite thing, but that also is a story. It's a story because there's millions of people that live in the cold, right? So I walked out there determined that I was doing this. I walked out on that snowy ice. I thought it was so crazy and so exciting when Paul Blanchard was using the chainsaw to break through this thing. Like, this didn't happen in just a couple minutes. It took some work. And it was 16 inches of thick ice. And as I sat there and watched him do this, I didn't become more afraid. I became more excited about the possibility of jumping into that water. That fear was not there anymore. And when he showed us how to do it, he jumped in, he did it, and he came out and he said, "All right, who's first?" I was like, "It's me." I was half undressed and I was ready to go. And you know what? All of that dialogue of how cold it is and how I can't do it and how I'm scared, the minute I put my body in that water, I started to focus on this up here, my brain, my mindset of I can do this and controlling my breath. I didn't feel scared 1 minute, not 1 minute. Did I start to feel some things? Yeah. And you can hear it in the video if you haven't seen it. Yeah, things started to burn a little bit in there on my feet. But you know what? Your brain is so powerful. And when your brain is telling you not to do something and you're unsure why, that it's just because you're afraid of the unknown, I would challenge you today to ask yourself, is this an experience that I'm going to pass up because I'm afraid? Or am I going to push myself through and be able to celebrate this moment, this experience in my life that I don't get all the time? Because I can tell you this, experiencing being in that water, that was one part of it. Experiencing being in that water, overcoming my mindset with all of those other people with me who were there cheering me on, I can't replace that moment. I can't, that is a moment in time that I will forever have in my heart. And it's all because I chose to make a decision to move past the fear and take the chance and get in that water. So, what is it today that you're not doing because you're afraid of the consequences, what someone might think of you, how you're being judged? Will I fail? Will I succeed? All that noise that's in your head, I would encourage you to take a moment to breathe through it and to decide, do I really want to do this? And if I do, why? And if I don't, why? And if you're being overrun with fear, but you really want to do it, then I would encourage you to say yes. Because I'll tell you what, saying yes this past couple of years has been the most important word that I can speak, because it's given me so many opportunities to experience life. And so I hope that you got some value out of that. And if you'd like to talk about this, I would love to chat with you, but make some comments, send me a DM. But remember, your brain is powerful. It is so powerful. And try saying yes, even when you feel like it's a no. All righty. Have a wonderful day.